Hello and welcome to Brand X Reviews, and on this video we have the first of our Bond 26 updates. I imagine this is going to be a topic that goes on for the next few years. Looking at this anyway, Barbara Broccoli's made some comments recently. This article was in Variety. So she's basically said it's going to take some more time before Daniel Craig's replacement is named. It's a big decision, Barbara told Variety at the Longacre Theatre on Thursday. It's not just about a casting role, it's about a whole rethink about where we're going. I'm just here to celebrate one of the greatest actors on the planet, yada yada yada. So this is something that I totally expected. This is nothing as a surprise to me, and also I think it's a good idea as well. I've said this before on the channel, obviously. In the past with the Bond movies, we would see a gap of like 2 years between each film. I mean, just 1 year when the original ones came out in the 60s. They just kind of fired these things out. It was a very different landscape at the time with cinema and movies and so on. Nowadays it's very different, and there's that many other competing franchises as well. I can see the temptation to release a movie every 2 years, but with Bond, it doesn't really seem to work. I don't know. We saw this with Star Wars as well. Obviously there was an expectation from the fan base, that's one thing, but just a general movie-going audience, I think when they saturate the market, not to sound too technical, but when they really do, like I say, saturate the market like that with one product like Bond or Star Wars, fatigue does set in. That's just a factor. Now, it was different with other franchises like Marvel because that was quite a diverse one. You had different movies within that. They weren't all just Avengers 1, Avengers 2, Avengers 3, Avengers 4. You had an Iron Man movie, then you had a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, then you had a Doctor Strange movie. You could afford to bring out 3 movies a year, but with Bond, especially with something kind of formulaic, I say that as if it's a bad thing, but it's, I mean, that's why we love it. Don't mess with the formula, guys. It's something that would get very repetitive with most people, so yeah, it's going to be very tricky anyway. So I think that they're going to have to leave it a fair few years, maybe 5 or 6 like they did between between Timothy Dalton and Pierce Brosnan. We had another 4 years between Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig, so on average 5 years seemed to work then. So I imagine they'll do the same here. Like she was saying in those comments as well, it's not just about the actor, it's the bigger picture. I mean, obviously when they changed Daniel Craig, it wasn't just the actor that changed. We effectively had a kind of reboot. And this is something that I want to talk about in a future video. Obviously the Daniel Craig, was it a reboot, wasn't it? That's a whole subject in and of itself. But I think they're going to need to do something like that again, whether or not it is a full-blown reboot or just a soft reboot or a sequel. Are we going to have continuity from the first 20 movies up to and including the Pierce Brosnan era, or is it going to be more of a continuation of the Daniel Craig ones where we see recurring actors and characters and storylines from those movies? There's a whole lot of questions we've got here, but these are the things that they need to consider. It's not just recasting the actor, it's the actual franchise itself. Are they going to have to recast that? I think that's the question anyway that we really want to know. I was just watching Calvin Dyson's channel. He really does hit the nail on the head with the Bond topic, and he was making some very good points about this as well, saying that the casting of the actor is like the big one. That's the big story. Obviously, whenever there's a new Bond movie, there's the title, there's the story, there's all the other actors that are in it. What's the car he's going to get? Who's going to do the title theme? The casting of Bond himself is the big one. I mean, it kind of swings round once every decade or two in a lot of cases. So that's not just something that changes film to film. So obviously they're going to have to take their time with this, and that's what Barbara Broccoli was saying on this video anyway. So not on this video, on this interview with Variety, or it was an article by Variety. So very interesting anyway, let's just say. I'll be covering this as long as this channel exists. I hope they don't go down the woke route. I don't want to get into that too much here today, but that is one thing that will not just put off a lot of people, it will turn away a lot of people, myself included. On a positive note, I am so incredibly thankful that they didn't go into that with the last Bond film. I know there was some discussion about, obviously, some of the stuff that they did in that movie that was kind of questionable. The whole family thing with Bond, was that work? I don't think it was, personally. I know the difference. For better or for worse, that's just what they did with the story. But yeah, we'll see anyway. We'll see what goes on with that anyway. Hopefully they don't go down that route. But for now, on a positive note, they didn't do that with Daniel Craig. We saw it to the end. They didn't go work. Great. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there because kind of shifting gears a little bit now. So I'll leave on a positive note and say you can like and subscribe. Obviously, if you've been using YouTube, you know that you can do that, but I would suggest it because it helps. And for now, I'll just leave there and say thank you very much for watching.
Whoa, bloody hell, Topher. Whoa, you ruined Galladay, motherfucker.
It was true.
Okay, Topher, you ruined Galladay, you cunt.
Ooh,
From the car, that?
yeah, no. He killed me.
It was him that said he ruined Galladay. Okay, yeah. I reckon, right,